Okay, so today we're at the Barataria Preserve. It's a natural area in the swamps, and we're going to see what this is all about. So let's go. The Barataria Preserve is made up of 26,000 acres of marsh, swamp, and hardwood forest. The preserve offers a visitor center, environmental education center, ranger programs, walking trails, waterways, and picnic areas. And as we drove along, we really noticed how much damage there was from the last hurricane, Ida. And of course, we're driving in the winter, so a lot of the trees haven't got their growth yet. So we're going into the visitor center. We got here a little late. It's February, and we thought, since it's a nice day out, we thought we'd come here and see what's all about. So here's the little bit. So they have trails, but because of Hurricane Ida, some of the trees have fallen and it's closed some of the trails. Up on stilts. It's actually in the swamp. What happened? This is you 20 years ago? Which one? Oh, you were a guide.
Well, that was a volunteer.
Oh.
I actually was a ranger here for a while.
Awesome. What a nice way to be welcomed into the preserve by somebody who used to work here 20 years ago. He was so sweet. So here in the visitor center, there's all sorts of displays. Interesting. The ranger said there's alligator sightings at a couple of the paths, so we'll be walking along those. Take a 20-minute. Oh, my favorite animal. Very interesting. And when we think of Delta and how the outer banks of the Mississippi River and how the land is changing, we're losing a lot of land each year. And you all know that New Orleans is lower than sea level. So pretty interesting. I did see one deer on the road a few weeks back. Not too many out in the open here. Not like Oregon. Alright, so let's go walk a path. Alright, so here we are going to go on this trail. Turn this around. Several different trails wind through the park. In this water-saturated world, a few inches of elevation result in dramatic changes in the trees and plant life. Stroll among the live oaks on the levee ridges, cross boardwalks through cypress swamp, or skirt wide open marshes where the grasses grow from floating soil. And always be on the lookout for wildlife and alligators. First, there was the land, the creation of the Mississippi River. At the end of its journey, the river deposits sediment scoured from 40% of the continental United States. The delta is a restless interplay of land and water. Treeless marshes, distributary channels, slow-moving bayous, forested natural levees, freshwater swamps, and barrier islands. A small swath of the delta within the Barataria Preserve encompasses some of these natural features and a history of human activity. American Indians settled this land as it formed some 2,500 years ago. Beginning in the 1720s, European settlers and enslaved Africans took their place among the Indians, inscribing on the face of the delta, alongside ritual earthen mounds and ancient shell middens, plantation fields, artificial levees, logging canals, trappers' ditches, and oil pipelines. Hey, let me interrupt this video for just a quick moment. And if you like my videos and want to see more of them, then subscribe, and it tells you when I've dropped a new one. I do one a week, and it's all about Joe Knows Adventure in New Orleans, around New Orleans, and beyond. So like and subscribe. All right, let's continue on. We're going during the winter time, so a lot of the foliage is waiting for the green of the spring, but you can tell a lot of the damage from Hurricane Ida ruined a lot of the trails. A lot of trees are down. So since the parking lot closes at 5, we decided to go down the road a little bit to take this trail, since we can park on the side of the road and it won't matter if they close the gate. We won't be stuck inside with our car because it's 4:30. So we're going to take this trail, see if we can see some alligators. The Bayou Coquille Trail. Raised ground at the start of the trail is a midden of discarded clamshells, evidence of a prehistoric Indian ceremonial or social center. At this watery crossroads, a jambalaya of diverse cultures used bayou and canals for transportation, food source, and for timber. The dense trail and side curtain of vines and palmettos disguises 2,000 years of settlement and exploitation. It's still sad to see so many trees down from Hurricane Ida. Between 1805 and 1814, the privateer Jean Lafitte led 1,000 men of diverse nationalities into one of the largest, although illicit, business enterprises of its day. With an alleged 90 vessels, Lafitte and his band of Baratarians supplied slaves and luxury goods to the wealthy planters along the Mississippi and to the residents of New Orleans. We know little about him as that's how he wanted it. But we do know he provided supplies and men to Andrew Jackson in the successful defense of New Orleans against the British in 1815. But events of his life before and after that event lie shrouded in the mist of the swamps and bayous through which he moved. Possible smuggling routes of Jean Lafitte. A thick palmetto understory is characteristic of forest on the wetter back slopes of natural levees. These levees are formed from sediments deposited over thousands of years of river flooding. Native Americans and early settlers used the fan-like leaves of this small palm to weave baskets and thatch roofs. With a dozen palmettos, a person could construct an effective, watertight dwelling in less than a day. The growth of this native palm is influenced by water levels. On the levee crest, its trunk is underground. Here, on the wetter back slope, a trunk forms above ground. In the still, wetter swamp, palmettos are absent. Louisiana's Mississippi River Delta conjures up images of a spirited culture and places of haunting beauty. It is a world shaped by a dynamic, centuries-old relationship between humans and a still evolving land. Here, a succession of peoples has both altered and adapted to the environment as they interacted with other cultures, changing and being changed. Jean Lafitte National Historical Park and Preserve tells the story of this land and its culture that together show one of the most interesting faces of the American experience. Well, how did you like that? I hope you found that very informative and maybe makes you have a desire to come visit New Orleans and take the time to go to the Barataria Preserve. That was so interesting. Although we did not see an alligator, we tried. Might have been because it was more later in the afternoon when we went. It still was so sad to see all the trees and down and the damage done from Hurricane Ida. But not to worry, you know, swamps recover, and that's the beauty of living in and around the bayou. So, hey, if you like this, thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and look forward to my next video. Okay? I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.